Welcome to the Heidi Healing Show, where we explore the most effective healing practices. I'm Heidi Northland, certified Ayurvedic doctor and yoga therapist, medical intuitive, and spiritual healer. In today's show, we are diving deeper into the common cause of a lot of disease: chronic inflammation. In one of the earlier shows, we talked about chronic conditions and chronic pain, and how inflammation is this major factor in these chronic issues. And today, we're looking at the causes of inflammation and how to eliminate the inflammation from the body. And if you like to watch the show about the chronic diseases and the chronic pain, then just go back to the show that is called Chronic Illness Management Revealed. So chronic inflammatory diseases, they are a significant health concern all over the world. They're affecting millions and millions and millions of people. For example, there are more than 125 million Americans suffering from at least one chronic inflammatory disease. That can be arthritis or cardiovascular disease or inflammatory bowel disease, the IBD, or pelvic inflammatory disease, PID. And more than 54 million of adults have been diagnosed with arthritis. And around 92 million of Americans, adults, they live with some form of cardiovascular disease. And they all have inflammation as the common underlying factor. So several million people are suffering from Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis or other digestive issues. And they're all caused by inflammation. So let's all do what we can to spread awareness about how to prevent these debilitating health issues and how to heal from them. Because these diseases, they don't only affect the quality of the life in the people that are suffering from them, but they also pose this significant burden on the healthcare system. So when we can intervene earlier on and provide dietary and lifestyle changes and provide effective management strategies, then we can improve the quality of life and prevent the negative impact. And that's what today's show is all about. From an Ayurvedic perspective, Ayurvedic medicine, the traditional medicine of India that is thousands and thousands and thousands of years old, from Ayurvedic perspective, inflammation is seen as an imbalance in the body's natural harmony. An imbalance, specifically in the fire element. And this fire element in Ayurvedic medicine is called Pitta. Pitta dosha. Pitta, not like pita bread, but Pitta dosha. And when Pitta dosha energy within our body, everybody has this Pitta dosha energy. And when it's in balance in the body, it supports healthy digestion, it supports healthy metabolism in the body. But when it gets out of whack, out of balance, when it gets aggravated, then it causes inflammation. It causes inflammation. So how to prevent this Pitta energy imbalance? And how to avoid the inflammation in the body. Here's how. Let's first take a look at the foods you eat. The foods you eat. You are what you eat in so many ways. So if you're eating a lot of salty, a lot of sour, a lot of spicy, hot, pungent foods, such as canned food or frozen dinners or other processed foods that have a lot of salt added to it, if you're adding a lot of salt to your foods every day, or if you're eating a lot of sour things. What are sour foods? Sour foods are like excess tomatoes, excess vinegar, excess products with a lot of vinegar in it, mustards, fermented things, pickled things. A lot of vinegar is very sour. And also citrus, like pineapple or lemon or kiwi, sour fruits. And if you're eating a lot of this spicy, hot, pungent foods, like garlic, onions, chilies, jalapenos, salsas, right? Have a lot of that. And if you're eating a lot of heavy foods, such as wheat or dairy or other very difficult foods to digest, a lot of red meat, for example, or if you take a lot of refined sugars, store-bought candy, sweets, stuff like that, all these artificial sugars or refined sugars and a poor food combination diet, if you have fresh, raw fruit, you want to eat them by themselves. They digest differently than other foods. So fresh, raw foods, eat them by themselves, like half an hour, 45 minutes, or an hour before a meal, or 2 to 3 hours after a meal. Then it won't produce all that inflammation that it would when it is combined in the same meal with other solid foods. Or if you're smoking, or if you are drinking alcohol every day, will all lead to inflammation. I'm sorry to say, but it is just the way it is. Other factors for causing inflammation is if there's not enough exercise, or if you take synthetic drugs or over-the-counter drugs, synthetic medications. Those are very, very difficult to digest. And anything that doesn't digest in the system is likely to cause inflammation. But the sour, salty, and pungent foods will literally flare up the fire in your body and aggravate this Pitta dosha energy. So if any of all of this is happening, then you can be sure that there is a need. There is a need to eliminate inflammation from your body. You need to cleanse and really get rid of and eliminate the inflammation from your body. So when there can be emotions, like angry emotions, or if you're holding a grudge against somebody, or if there's frustration or impatience, if all of that is going on in your life, that will further imbalance the Pitta dosha energy. And then there is an even greater need to eliminate the inflammation. The organs in the body that are affected mostly by this inflammation, where it starts to create a pathology, is in the blood and in the organs of the liver and the gallbladder and the spleen and the stomach and the small intestines. So when the food comes down that is provoking the Pitta dosha energy, it will start building this fire element, and it will start increasing the Pitta, the inflammation in these organs that are having to do and being governed by the Pitta dosha energy. And then if all of these Pitta provoking emotions are there in life, the fire will burn too hot and it will create all these problems. And what are some early signs to pay attention to? Some people come to me and they are stunned how they all of a sudden got a serious diagnosis of a chronic disease. But it's never sudden with these diseases. There are early signs, early symptoms, and some of them are just a little heartburn. Pay attention. If there is some heartburn, it is an imbalance of the Pitta dosha and excess inflammation. If there's a little headache, it can be inflammation. Get it checked out. If there are loose stools on a regular basis, not just like a couple of days, that's all right. But if it continues on, it becomes a problem. There's blood in the stools, then it's a serious thing. Definitely get it checked out. But also excess sweating. I'm not talking hot flashes, but excess sweating or acidity or reflux or skin rashes. If all of a sudden you start getting rashes or skin issues, then it's time to get checked out and start eliminating the inflammation. Because if the inflammation is not eliminated from your body in time, it will start developing a disease process and a pathology that just will get worse with time. So if you're experiencing any of these early signs, please do yourself a favor and get checked out and start eliminating the inflammation. And with what I'm about to share with you today, will help you do exactly that. I'm going to talk to you about herbs and guide you through an incredible, very effective yoga cleanse. So here we go. The first herb today is called Manjistha. Manjistha is the Indian madder root, and it's this really potent anti-inflammatory. It has amazing properties. It purifies the blood. It treats skin conditions. It supports the liver function. It's really a wonderful herb. It has this beautiful red color like the blood, and it helps to detoxify the body. It reduces systemic inflammation, and that is so important. When people take over-the-counter painkillers, ibuprofen, Tylenol, it is helping to reduce localized inflammation, right? It kills the pain, but it causes systemic inflammation. So if you're taking a lot of these over-counter drugs, it's really necessary to start cleansing the body. The next herb is Guggulu. And Guggulu, it's a fun thing to say, Guggulu. And it's sometimes referred to as the Indian myrrh. It's a tree resin from India. And it has this guggulsterone. Guggulsterone, that's fun to say too. So this guggulsterone is a bioactive compound that inhibits inflammatory cytokines. And it also inhibits enzymes like the cyclooxygenase, and that all plays a role in inflammation. Guggulu has been traditionally used to treat arthritis and joint pain. Oh, and Manjistha, because it's so anti-inflammatory, can help in arthritis as well, a lot, by lowering the inflammatory factors. So Guggulu will reduce swelling and improve mobility. It's fantastic. It's really a wonderful, wonderful resin. Doesn't necessarily taste so great, but it's possible to chase it down when we know that there is medicine in it and it's going to really help us. We will take something, right? Let's not be like Mary Poppins. It's the sugar that makes the medicine go down. Let's not use refined sugar, but a little maple syrup or a little honey will be fine to take the herbs with. Now, Guggulu also helps to lower cholesterol and triglycerides. Wow. So it's used to promote cardiovascular health. So there are different kinds of this Guggulu preparation. So which Guggulu preparation to use, it depends on which imbalance is going on with the Vata and the Pitta and the Kapha. Different types of Guggulu is used in different types of arthritis, for example. And one of the Guggulu combinations is Kaishur Guggulu. Kaishur Guggulu includes the Guduchi. We talked about Guduchi a few weeks ago and how amazing the Guduchi is to bring balance in the body. and to heal the liver. So Guggulu is sometimes referred to as the Ayurvedic ibuprofen because it's so amazing. It is so good to take care of the inflammation. The third herb I'm going to tell about today is the frankincense. Frankincense, the boswellia. It's also known as Shallaki in Sanskrit. And Shallaki, this frankincense, contains these boswellic acids. And they have amazing anti-inflammatory properties. They inhibit this 5-lipocygenase enzyme, and that's, again, a key player in the inflammatory process. So frankincense is very effective in reducing the pain and improving the joint function. And there are studies that show how frankincense can be beneficial for chronic inflammatory conditions, especially the IBD, the inflammatory bowel disease, but also asthma. Say a few weeks ago on this Heidi Healing show, I discussed 10 Ayurvedic herbs that had antifungal and antibacterial properties. And all of those 10 herbs, they also have great anti-inflammatory properties. So you can go back and watch the Heidi Healing show that's called Candida Overgrowth and Parasites Exposed. Because it's so important to regularly treat this excess yeast and get rid of parasites in the body regularly, because they contribute to inflammation. There's such great wealth in Ayurvedic medicine, and let's spread the word about it, because so many people don't know. Ayurveda is not licensed, and therefore no doctor is required to recommend Ayurvedic medicine. So when people find Ayurveda, it's usually at the very end of their searching. And it's much better if we can find Ayurveda when we are preventing the disorders, because Ayurveda shines. It has so much to offer in order to prevent disease, to prevent imbalance, to keep us in balance. So these herbs, Manjistha, Guggulu, Shallaki, frankincense, or boswellia, can be taken individually. But in Ayurveda, for the most part, they're taken in combination with other herbs because they help each other. There are herbs that help the potency of other herbs. So when they are combined in these traditional formulations, and depending upon the need for a person, they have most healthy effect. When I prepare an herbal formula, I usually combine about 5 to 10 different herbal compounds, and then they're mixed in this healing environment in my home, filled with prayers and healing mantras, infusing healing and loving energy into the herbs. And I do that for the sake of the greatest good of the person that's going to ingest these herbs. And so if you are interested in these herbal formulations, just contact me through my website, HeidiHealing.com. Now, inflammation and toxins in the body can be resistant to get rid of. It can be deeply lodged and sitting hidden in there in the deeper organs. So it is recommended, quite important, to take herbs for at least a month and then do some detoxification and cleansing of the body. And a rather safe way to start cleansing your body is to start taking 1 teaspoon, just a small amount, of high quality castor oil, Iranda oil, castor oil, in a little ginger tea. Just a little bit. Don't make a big cup of ginger tea and then you have to drink all that with castor oil. It doesn't taste particularly great, but it is so effective. And you do that before bed for 5 nights a month. That is pretty safe for most people. So what was that? 1 teaspoon in a little ginger tea for 5 nights before bed, once a month. That is a wonderful protocol to start eliminating inflammation from the body. So if you're experiencing some joint pain or discomfort or any of the early signs like the heartburn, reflux, loose stools, excess sweating, and so forth, or the fiery emotions, then do this. 1 teaspoon high quality castor oil in a little ginger tea before bed for 5 nights and once a month. While you are cleansing the body, but also on a regular basis, it's highly, highly recommended that you do an oil massage. The Ayurvedic oil massage, Abhyanga, it is such a delicious and a must-have self-care practice in Ayurveda for your optimal health. So the castor oil has these special properties of being purgative. Now, lots of oils can be used for different things in Ayurveda. We use oils for all kinds of things, but the Iranda oil, the castor oil, is specific to eliminate the inflammation. It has this very unique quality of purging the toxins from the body, and no other oil can substitute that. So in this particular case of getting rid of inflammation, the castor oil is really great. It is the one to use. For the oil massage, you can use castor oil, but it's very thick and it's a little bit much to massage the whole body in castor oil. But if you have some areas of pain and discomfort, you can locally apply the castor oil there, and then you can massage the rest of the body with an Ayurvedic oil, Ayurvedic massage oil that balances Vata, Pitta, and Kapha. Or you can simply use a base oil of coconut or almond or sunflower or sesame oil can be used. And then you can add some essential oils that are your favorites to it to make it smell nice, and also for some additional healing properties. If you want to have more information about the Abhyanga and how to do it, you can just go back to the first episode of the Heidi Healing Show, because I went into a great detail and guidance of how to practice this Abhyanga. The show is called A Must-Have Self-Care Practice to Heal at All Levels. There is another wonderful Ayurvedic oil called Mahanarayan oil. Mahanarayan oil. Try to say that 10 times. Mahanarayan oil, Mahanarayan oil. And it's prepared with this long list of anti-inflammatory herbs. And this oil is very effective to improve joint health when it's massaged into the joints for like 15 minutes or more before you go to bed at night or before you take a bath or shower. Mahanarayan oil is also effective to giving relief in asthmatic attacks. So if you know anybody that is suffering from asthma and get attacks, then share with them to get this Mahanarayan oil and add about 5 drops into a cup of licorice tea, warm licorice tea, and then sip it. That will help. I've personally seen this work very effectively for somebody that was in a full-blown active asthmatic attack, and they started drinking this tea with the Mahanarayan oil drops in it, and the attack calmed down. It was beautiful to watch. While you are massaging your body, this Abhyanga treatment, the full body delicious oil massage, think of loving yourself deeply. It's so underestimated, the power of the body. And in Ayurveda and yoga, we truly love the body. At least it's recommended to do so. It's not always practiced, but the body has this incredible intelligence is in it. There's a reason why we've chosen to come into the body to play out in this lifetime. So honor your body. When you massage, when you apply the oil, speak to your body, speak to yourself, I love you, and say your name. Or look at your body parts and say, I love you, foot. I love you, feet, for balancing me. I love you, hands, for working with me. I love you. Talk to all your organs. I know it sounds a little silly maybe, but give them all names. Have some fun. Make it a love story to truly love yourself. Your body will love you for it. And when your body is loving you, it will be healthier. It will respond stronger in a greater way. So see what you can do when you are doing oil massages before bed, massaging your feet, massaging your joints, to love. There's a wonderful love mantra, self-love mantra. I love me, I love me, I love me. And it can bring a lot of emotion up. And it's good to bring up hidden emotions that are ready to be purified. And it can be purified in this wonderful self-love. Forgiveness, the energy of forgiveness. So if you have some diagnoses of or sufferings from some disease in parts of your body or pain in your body, forgive yourself for causing that. Ask your body parts that are hurting for forgiveness. I know that's a tough cookie, right? Because so often we're stuck in the blame game. And if we've been experiencing car accidents, being hit by a car, or being assaulted or abused by other people, it's so easy to blame. It's their fault that we're in pain. It's their fault that we're suffering. It's their fault that we are having this disease or so forth. But it's time to take responsibility for our lives. That is so empowering when we do. It's so empowering to take our power back. When we're stuck in that blame game, we give our power away all the time. So when we choose to accept what happened and choose to take responsibility that we ourselves create every single thing in our life, and whatever happens is simply happening because of what is activated within our consciousness. When we start accepting that and taking responsibility, we take our power back and we start standing in our truth. And that is one of the greatest forces of healing. So powerful. So do what you can a little bit every day to tab away at accepting whatever has happened. I know dreadful things have happened. Horrible things have happened. I know I've had my share. Everybody has their share. But nevertheless, it doesn't justify to continually be stuck in the blame game, because that will just keep us disempowered and sick. So let's change that game and let's take responsibility for our imbalances and our diseases. We are the creator of our own life. Let's talk some more about how to cleanse the body. There are many different ways to cleanse the body. And when I work one-on-one with people, I develop these customized cleansing programs that are specifically designed to a person's need. However, the cleanse that I'm about to share with you and guide you through is safe for most people. If there is a very high blood pressure, then the cleanse that I'm going to guide you through is not so good to be done. And that's because it's a saltwater cleanse, and salt can increase blood pressure. The cleanse that I'm about to guide you through is also known as a saltwater flush or saltwater detox. And it's a natural and simple method that's used to promote the bowel movements and to cleanse your stomach and intestines. To make this cleanse more effective, to clean the inflammation out that's hidden in the deeper seated organs like the liver or the spleen and so forth, then you can, for 3 days prior to doing this cleanse, drink a little bit of oil. Drink a little bit of flaxseed oil, like a tablespoon before bed. Or you can do the castor oil, or you can do coconut oil, or sunflower oil, or the clarified butter, the ghee, melted in a little bit of hot water. Hold your nose, it doesn't taste good. Hold your nose, chase it down, chug it down, and then chase it down with some ginger tea or other chamomile tea or peppermint tea or a little apple juice. And whenever I'm saying juice, I'm talking about unsweetened juices. Ideally, they're fresh made, but not always that's possible. So see if you can. Always remember to read the ingredients. Then for this saltwater cleanse, it's involving the salt water. Then it's made from purified water. It's warmed up and then mixed with a healthier kind of salt. And this will stimulate the digestive system and then move the waste out of the body. So do the 3 days of internal oleation, drinking a little bit oil before bed. And then on the 4th day, you do the cleanse to eliminate all the toxins and the inflammation. It's incredibly effective. If you do suffer from underlying health conditions or any serious diagnosis, then it's really important to consult with an Ayurvedic doctor like myself before attempting any type of cleanse. To schedule a call with me or to set up a session, you can just go to HeidiHealing.com and click Get Started Now, and that'll take you to my calendar where you can schedule a call with me to discuss treatment options. Now, here is how to do this simple saltwater cleanse. So you need pure, non-iodized salt. Don't use iodized salt. So some salts like Himalayan pink salt is really great, or sea salt or Celtic salt, and then warm filtered water. And the ratio of the salt water that's used for this more simple cleanse is 2.5 teaspoons of salt to 1 quart of water. So 1 quart is the same as 4 cups, and that's about 1 liter of water. So 2.5 teaspoons. It's salty. It's very salty. It's like the ocean salty, but that's the whole point. The yogis have known for thousands of years to clean the body out with salt water. And this uses that incredible way to do it for this saltwater cleanse. So 2.5 teaspoons of salt to 1 quart of water. To prepare the salt water, you heat the water up, but not too hot. You should be able to drink it. And then dissolve the salt in this warm water, stirring the salt until it's completely dissolved. And then first thing in the morning, on an empty stomach, you drink the salt water, because that will allow the salt water to work effectively through your intestines without getting interfered by other food or beverages. So if you want to do this cleanse, first take some cleansing herbs to help pre-cleanse your body. Then take some internal oleation, drink some oil, good high quality oil, organic oils, to start pre-cleansing the body and loosening the toxins and moving them into the GI tract. So when you drink the salt water, you can flush it all out. So schedule a day where you can rest and take it easy for this saltwater cleanse. And then on the day of your scheduled cleanse, you get up early in the morning. It's ideal to start drinking the salt water anytime between 5 and 8 a.m. in the morning. So early. You want to be done by 10. You want to be done by 10 a.m. So set your alarm and hydrate a little bit. Make sure the day before you hydrate very well. And then you'll be drinking a total of 2 quarts of salt water. That's 8 cups, or about 2 liters. And think of it as drinking soup broth. And 2 quarts may seem like a lot of salt water to drink, but it's really not. In some of the yoga cleanses that we do in yoga therapy, gosh, we drink up to 3 gallons of salt water. Now, that's a lot. 3 gallons of salt water, that's 12 quarts of water, and that's 48 cups of water. That's a lot. So what I'm sharing with you here is a gentle and pretty safe saltwater cleanse. You'll want to drink the entire 2 quarts of salt water relatively quickly in the early morning. Ideally, within 10 to 20 minutes, you drink both of the quarts of salt water. And it's helpful to divide this salt water into smaller portions and then drink it gradually. So for example, you can drink 1 glass of salt water and then do some twists. Twisting movements will help to move the salt water down through your intestines. And then drink another glass of warm salt water and do some more twists and so on. And then when you're done drinking the 2 quarts of the salt water, you can continue with some more twists, or you can lie down to rest for about half an hour. That will help to facilitate this movement of the salt water to move it through the digestive tract. Then be prepared for call number 2 on the toilet. You'll start having bowel movements that can last anywhere from 30 minutes to a few hours after drinking the salt water. So review. How do you make the salt water? You have 2 quarts of warm water and then add 2.5 teaspoons of salt into each quart. So it's a total of 5 teaspoons. You can use more or you can use less. If you use less salt because it's just impossible to drink it, then make 3 quarts and then just use 1.5 teaspoons, for example. There are so many ways to prepare this cleanse, but with the 2 quarts, it's fairly safe to do it, but it is very strong salt water, which is why if a person is suffering from high blood pressure, don't do it. So after you've rested, after having finished drinking the salt water, you start having bowel movements. And they will get thinner and thinner and thinner. So you will have to be close to a bathroom and you'll have to run to the bathroom a lot. Once it starts moving through, it can become very watery, okay? Very diarrhea first, but it's nothing like being sick. It's done on an empty stomach and you've already pre-cleansed your body. And so it just is so wonderful when it finally starts coming out. Light some incense or something, open a window, because it's toxins that are coming out, inflammation that's coming out, and it stinks. Okay, so you can have diarrhea or this loose motions, this watery stools for anywhere just from 30 minutes to 2 hours or more, just depending on how much toxins and inflammations are ready to be moved out of your body. It just depends. Also depends on the size. I'm only 5'1", so I can sometimes just, when it comes through, I sit on the toilet and it all comes out. But I've also been doing this for 25 plus years. So if this is the first time you do it, it may take a little bit longer. And if you're a larger person, if you're tall, then it can take longer for the salt water to work down through the intestines. But it usually works. If you're hydrated enough, the salt water will have a purgative effect and it will move a lot of things out. And because it's moving so much stuff out, make sure you stay hydrated. So it's really important. Hydration before and after the cleanse. And when you're done moving the toxins out, it'll just stop. It's not going to be going on all day long, which is why it's different than being sick. If you had a parasite or a bug or something, then the diarrhea would continue. This is a cleanse. It will stop when the toxins or the inflammation has been removed. It just stops. Don't drink anything cold on that day when you do the cleanse. Enjoy warm beverages, warm herbal teas, warm water. Nothing else. Warm water, warm herbal teas. And if you do cold things, it can really interfere with the cleanse and cause a stomach ache. So pay attention to how your body responds during and after the cleanse. If there is severe discomfort, now a little nausea, some nausea is normal when you drink all this salt water. But if it's really extreme and you start throwing up and different things, then just stop the cleanse, okay? If you throw up, it's just because there are toxins in the stomach that are ready to be moved out. So that's okay. That's just a different kind of cleanse. You needed to cleanse your stomach more than the small intestines. And just let that be. And then the next week, you can do this saltwater cleanse again and clean out through the small intestines and large intestines. But if there is like severe dizziness or other problems, then stop the cleanse, first of all, but then seek some help, okay? So while this saltwater cleanse is pretty safe, as I mentioned, it's not suitable for everyone, especially in high blood pressure, but also in ulcers or kidney problems. In that case, it is very important to consult with an Ayurvedic doctor, especially if there are these underlying health concerns or if Western medication is taken. Things have to be done in proper preparation for the cleanse to prevent and avoid problems. This may be a little overwhelming, especially if you're planning to do this cleanse alone. And if you're new to all of this, then it can especially be overwhelming. I started doing these cleanses back in 1998, and I've done a lot of these cleanses on my own, so I know what it takes to do it by yourself. And it's a challenge. It's a challenge to really get it done. And it's so much more fun and easier, really, too, to do it in groups, because there's the accountability and there's the support and there is the inspiration and motivation. I've been fortunate to study with great teachers and learn while we were in groups as well. So I've had these wonderful experiences of doing these cleanses in groups as well. And I love it. And I'd love for you to experience the joy of it. Not only experience the incredible benefits of the cleanses, but the joy it gives to be in community, to do this work. Because again, it's overwhelming and can be difficult to do it by oneself. And it probably won't happen. I started the cleanse doing it with groups for a while before I started doing it on my own. And even so, it was a challenge when I started doing it on my own. So if you would like to do these cleanses with me in group sessions, then you have the opportunity to do that, because you can join the Soul Renewal Academy, where we connect on live Zoom calls. And then we do these cleanses together to make it easier and to get it done. And so it's fun. And if you'd like to join us, you just go to my website, HeidiHealing.com, and then click on joining Soul Renewal Academy. So if you decide to join Soul Renewal Academy for 12 months, I'll give you a great discount. So just contact me through my website and I'll tell you about this very special opportunity that you have right now. Thank you so much for sticking with me today. My name is Heidi Northland, and I look forward to seeing you next week at the next Heidi Healing Show, where we're going to explore more effective healing practices. You are loved always, whether or not you feel it. You're loved. And remember, it's never too late to heal at all levels. Namaste.